tower of St. George. You've seen 2 videos of me outside listening to 5 bells, but hopefully today we're going up the tower and listening to 10 bells. We're meeting the bellmaster Andrew, so let's get cracking. Now we have to wait for Andrew. Let's take a walk round. That's probably the door that we might be going up. We have to climb 83 steps. That is a lot of stairs, but that's not as much as them. We went up like 50 steps or something, so that's a good no safe. It's where we recorded when we was recording it outside. Let's wait for Andrew.
Yes. Excited?
Yes.
Good.
We have to go up 83 steps.
More than that, it's 83 to where we ring them. It's even more up to where the back.
Wait, so we're going up to the bells first then, going to where the... Alright guys, there we go, we're going in. Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh my goodness. Wow, we're already quite up high. Wow.
We're nearly there.
It's a lot of cobwebs. 4 stairs. Ooh. Wow. 10 bells.
Wow.
This is what we're going to watch them with.
Need a lift installing, I think, Andrew. That's what you need. A lift.
Oh wow, my legs feel
He's not even out of breath.
I don't know how many places where there are a lift.
my legs.
Liverpool Cathedral has,
Oh, was it?
but that's vast, long way up.
Yeah.
And Washington Cathedral in the USA. Well, that's the sort of model bell. So it doesn't work to everyone now. And maybe it's just to demonstrate the difference. You know what goes on with bells? They hang downwards like that. And then, have I done that right? No, it's not right at that.
Tiny Sally.
Yeah, it is tiny. Now then, that's how they, as you pull that, it swings backwards and forwards until it gets higher and higher. And then at the moment, all the bells apart from one are mount up like that. So they're not just balanced, they're resting as sort of stay mechanism. It's all gone there. I need to make it look even more cobwebby up here. No, it's been up for a while.
Not more stairs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness. My legs are so stiff. Oh my goodness, it's really dark up here.
Yeah, it's not
It's very starry.
right round the base of the spire, that bit. Stay there for now. Right, come on, lights, there we are.
Wow.
What?
Now then, the lightest one is at the far end there.
Is that the treble?
Yeah. And then they go 2, 3, 4 here, 5
Where's the tenor?
in the middle.
The middle.
If you come round here, stand next to it, it's the one in the middle there.
Oh, that is massive.
It is massive.
Whoa.
And then 9 is over there, the back. 8, 7 is hanging downwards. That's not
These
bad.
bells are bigger than I expected.
And then 6, 5, 4, and then they go off.
They're already rung up.
Yeah, they've all been rung up apart from that one.
Which?
The,
Apart from the middle one,
the
that's
one,
down.
the one
What
in
was that one?
number 7. is down.
So how much
You can
bells are
see.
we going to hear ringing on 10?
We probably won't ring all 10 this morning.
How
We'll probably
much
ring
will
6.
it-
We
oh,
ring
6.
front 6. which sound like a 6.
These are very huge bells.
They were hung up here in 1896, which is, what, 125 years ago.
Wow.
And I think they've all got the date on them. And the thing up, it's resting against there, and it's just over the balance, so there's enough weight for it to stay where it is. But it doesn't take much to pull it off. And once it's going, the energy down one side is almost enough to get it up the other. So you don't have to pull fantastically hard to be able to ring. It's just enough to be able to obviously, as bells get very much bigger, they do take a bit more effort.
I thought the tenor was Borden for a second.
You thought it was what?
Borden?
Well, it's not quite as big.
That ain't a big bell.
There are some massive Borden bells.
Like the one in
There's Buckfast Abbey. I think that one's. I think it's 7 tons.
Oh yeah, Buckfast Abbey.
And it's called Hosanna.
Yeah, Hosanna.
There's another one I've heard from time to time, which I think is only about 4 or 5 tons. That's called Bede, and it's at what's the name of the place? Downside Abbey.
What about Great George in Liverpool Cathedral?
Yeah, that's about 14 tons. It's the next. I think it's the next heaviest bell after Big Ben, which is 16. Of course, the one for the Olympics, the big,
Yeah.
that's about 18 tons.
There's one that's unringable in Manchester Town Hall called Great Abel. I've heard
Yeah,
that.
well, it's a clock bell.
Yeah,
It
so
does get
it's-
used to strike the hours.
strikes the
I
hour.
think that's about 8 tons.
How heavy's the tenor?
It's 1.5 tons.
Still
So
quite heavy.
it's quite a bit lighter than some of the big ones, but it's pretty well the heaviest bell in Chester Diocese, I think. There's probably more bell metal up here than most towers. See, even at St Michael's Macclesfield, it's there are 12, but they're not as heavy as this, and they're sort of quite light round the front compared with these.
What about Blackburn Cathedral?
Blackburn, there are 10.
10. Like this.
About 2,500 weight tenor, 1.25 tons. Well, that wheel got broken. That was the third bell. The gudgeon broke, and of course the thing just collapsed and it smashed the wheel.
Wow.
It had to be rehung.
How often do they have to be? How often's like maintenance carried out on them? And...
Well, there's not a lot of maintenance to do because they're all on ball bearings and sealed. You need to, just make sure everything's okay, tighten up. But the frame's absolutely sound. It's the original oak frame.
Wow.
The daft thing is, though, and it shows you Victorian engineering isn't all it's cracked up to be. When they were hung, they were put here, and this roof wasn't here. The spire just open, with huge openings in. 4 sides down here, all 8 sides further up. The actual lead that keeps the place watertight is under the bells. It was above the roof of the ringing chamber.
Ah.
So they were basically hung in the open air.
Wow.
And the 7th, I think, eventually with all the water coming in on it, the headstock collapsed and it had to be rehung, and that was probably early 1970s.
Wow.
And then they were all rehung, because originally most of them on plain bearings as well, which we had to pop out each week and plop a bit of oil in, They were all rehung with new headstocks, new wheels, new clappers, I think, too. I think it was 1975, 76, about then. And when it was done, the bell founder said, "Look, there are 1 or 2 soft spots in this frame. We've let carved those out. We put new wood in, but we think it would be a good idea if you put a roof over the bells." And it took us years to get that sorted out. The daft things that the Dyson said, "Oh, you can't do that. The sound energy will transfer to the spire and it'll all fall down."
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. That is there any like vibration?
Well, there is, but you see, the sound vibration is nothing.
Right.
And if you went over to that bell over there and had a lighted candle and held it next to it and bashed it with a hammer, it might flicker a little bit.
Really?
Only, but hardly. I don't know if you would notice anything. There's no
impressive.
sound energy. Yeah. The actual forces of swinging bells, of course, are quite substantial, but that's all been taken into account. I mean, they've
calculated for all that, haven't they?
They know the structure of the tower, the way it's hung and everything. They've not been retuned or anything. When they were rehung, the foundry said, "Oh well, it'd be quite nice to retune them a bit." Whilst I agree, it might have been the cost of getting them down and getting them tuned and getting them back up again was prohibitive. So we thought, well, they are like they were, so we might as well keep them as they were. But everything else, the original frame, everything's just as it was.
Let's try ringing the trebles. Which one's which?
That's number one, the treble. Yeah. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
So that's the tenor.
That's the tenor. Now you have good boxes like this because it's a big wheel and there's a lot of rope.
So you have to stand.
So if you stand on a box, it means you've not got loads of rope flapping around your feet. This is Sam. He's been wanting to come and see the bells for about 18 months, and the bells have all been shut down. And his dad and his gran, and so I've been up to show them the bells. Right. And they've been watching us read.
Which one are you?
The fourth one. I did start on the second one when I did first started with me. First and fourth.
When did you start ringing?
5 years ago. Yeah, about 5 years ago I started.
What got you into bell ringing, was it?
It was just a tower.
Was it?
Yeah.
Heritage Day.
And it was,
Wow.
she said, "Look, we've got the bowling." I went, "Yeah, really?"
Yeah.
Can't I feel a breeze through here?
No.
It's windy.
You know, Sam, one day you might be part of this team.
Yeah.
Hello.
This is Sam. Hello, Sam. I wanted to go and see the bells for 18 months. Oh, right. This is your first Hello.
Hi, you okay?
So what we're doing this time is not change ringing as such. What we do, we start ringing rounds down the scale. And then I'll call to some bells over. Yeah. Let's go. 5 to 4. 4 to 3 to 2. 5 to 2. 4 to 2. 5 to 3. 4 to 3. 'Right, Cambridge Minor. This time we'll do proper chambering. I say that isn't properly reheated. But once you've got control of the bell to be able to change the order every time, you know your path around the bells which you have to learn. Right, hang on.
Two. We'll go in. Oh.
Go, Cambridge. 90 changes. So it's only 60 what you could be £6. Do you want to read one too?
Yeah, I'm fine this morning.
All right, let's read some verses.
What are you thinking so far?
Really good.
Enjoying it?
Huh?
Enjoying it?
Yep. Change ring numbers. Good sound. Very soothing.
Change 9 changes, 10 more, 11 6, 12 matches.
Not so, someone's going. Yes.
Yeah, it's the second one. It's the one that's down. If you pull that, you see how heavy it is. It's quite heavy, isn't it? It's quite heavy.
Don't pull it anymore, son.
Oh wait, I hear it.
I think you can't reach this, it's too high.
Yeah, can I just pull them out?
Yeah, just pull it. But don't go too
I'll pull it.
Not too hard.
That's it. Just it's in old money, it's 1,300 rand.
Yeah.
Sound and A sharp.
I'm not sure. No, there's some disputes as to whether the bells are in D flat or D.
This
Now,
sounds like
that if it was D, E, F, G, D, D flat, E flat. F, it would be, it's either F sharp or G. Say they're in D. If they're in D, it's a fourth higher. F sharp, it would be in G.
Did you say F sharp just then?
Well, if the tenor's in D flat, you have D flat, E flat, F, and then it would be G flat, strictly speaking, or F sharp, same note. But if they're in D, it would be D, E, F sharp, it would be in G. It's quite a big bill for G.
That must be it.
So unless you've got perfect pitch. Okay.
Thank you for letting me come up.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much, Andrew. Yeah, definitely.
You're obviously keen enough and would like to have a go, and I think once you're just a bit bigger,
I do want to have a go ring it one day.
Yeah.
so it would be okay.
I only rung it once. I did hear it.
Yeah.
It sounded like bong. It sounded
Yeah. Well,
Happy
Yes.
boy. Yeah. Enjoy.
I'm really pleased that we've been able to get you up here.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Andrew. Honestly, it's been amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Bucket list tick that, innit?
Yes. That's the first time I've actually been up a church and seen the huge bells.
Yeah.
Well,
and
it's
close.
Not many people do get a chance
That's what I'm
to
saying.
do it.
Very lovely.
Maybe that's why I found that 4-leaf clover a couple of weeks ago.
Maybe that's.
I was 12
Yeah.
on very light bells.
Yeah.
yeah.
We'll have to
It
start
was quite
like
hard work.
It does.
Well, it's not terribly hard work. I mean, it's making sure there are some times where the bell doesn't need to go up as far, but it needs to be up the next stroke, you see. So you've got to check it in and pull it at the same time. Now, I learnt at a lightish ring of 8, but there was a heavy ring of 8 in the next place. So I used to go to their practices. That's how I got used to ringing heavier bells.
Right.
And then everywhere I've run since then has mostly been heavy. Around St Mary's Watford for a while, and they're not as heavy as these, but they're quite heavy.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like for more church videos, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.